Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. Fans Day last night, to be honest with you. Game 2 of the Dodgers and San Francisco Giants. Just not a whole lot to talk about. The offense had a couple of chances to get it going. Could not do it. Good game by Shohei Ohtani, no doubt about it. Disappointing outing from Jack Dreyer. The Dodgers had the three lefties, Dreyer, Vesia, and Scott ready to go. The three lefties had been fantastic to this point in the year. Sometimes you just don't have your A game. Jack Dreyer certainly did not last night. So, home run from Patrick Bailey, a guy that you don't expect, one of the worst hitters in all of Major League Baseball. One of those games, one of those 2-game series, the Dodgers are on one of those little skids. Again, you can't make too much of it. It's 1 to 2 to 3 out of 162. Letting the Giants back in and then also allowing the Padres to leapfrog the Dodgers, which I'm not worried about at all. We've talked about many different times how I think actually, just that iron sharpening iron part of it in terms of the Padres being good and the NL West overall being a lot better this year. I think that's a good thing for the Dodgers overall, especially as you're seeing on your screen here when the Dodgers get this elite pitcher back. Blake Snell that you're seeing here yesterday made his very first rehab outing with the Ontario Tower Buzzers. Of course, Ontario closer to LA, so they're at home. Good choice for him to pitch there at the low A level. Oklahoma City's at home as well. Less travel to go with Ontario in pitch there because, to be honest with you, at the stage that Blake Snell's in right now, it has nothing to do. And matter of fact, he actually gave up a couple of runs. Pitched into the second inning through 32 pitches. Again, gave up a couple of runs. So the results do not matter whatsoever if you are Blake Snell right now. It is all about just getting your work in, which he did, 32 pitches, getting the feel of your pitches back. He doesn't even know who he's facing. This could be just a random guy at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at Dodger Stadium in a simulated game for all he cares. So it doesn't matter whatsoever at this point in his rehab what level of baseball he's pitching at, because it's not about the opponent and it's not about the results. So just take him to Ontario, which is closer to LA. Then he can come back, he can evaluate, work with the Dodgers pitchers in between outings. And I would have to imagine, after he gets a little bit closer to getting ready to be Major League ready, I think it's going to take him about a month. I mean, just keep in mind, this is his spring training right now. So I think we're looking at about a month-ish, if you will, until he's ready to pitch for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So we're talking sometime late May, maybe even early June, or maybe a little bit sooner than that. But I think that's about the timeline you're looking at. I think as he gets a little bit closer to getting ready to become a major leaguer again as far as pitching in the major leagues, I think then you'll see him want to step up in competition to the AAA level and face former major league hitters and that kind of deal. But for right now, Ontario is absolutely perfect as he is working on his process and not worrying about the results. So the fastball is about 95. He threw a good changeup for a strikeout. Curveball had good break. And as always in these rehab outings, it's all about getting your work in and staying healthy, and he certainly did that last night. So good to see Blake Snell back on the mound again, just about a month probably away from being able to help the big league squad. And he is back at it, rehab outing number 1 last night. And this came in on top of Blake Snell, actually, in the second inning when Blake Snell did not actually record an out in the second inning. This is Accimias Morales. He knocked down a scoreless inning. I like this guy, about 92, 93, but it's a lot of movement, and especially late movement on that sinker for Accimias Morales. Big curveball, overall good arsenal. I've got a message out to Sean Coyne, pitching coach for the Ontario Tower Buzzers, for a little bit more detailed information on Morales. So as I get that, I will share that along with you. But for now, big curveball, 92, 93 range on the sinker. Good arsenal, 6'5". You can see that little tight cutter / slider there. 6'5", 21-year-old from Venezuela. And he's shown the ability, Morales, to miss bats. He has 11 strikeouts so far in 6 innings. And a good outing last night again. 6'5", 20-year-old out of Venezuela, Accimias Morales. Let's keep an eye on him. And as I get more information on a specific arsenal, how he attacks hitters from pitching coach Sean Coyne, I will definitely past that along the way. And then we had a lot of firepower in the Tower Buzzards game last night. This is Hyun-Seok Jang right here. Let's freaking go. 4 innings pitched for Jang last night. 3 hits and no runs, 4 strikeouts, and no walks. Dude gave a very good long relief, piggyback, whatever you want to call it, outing last night for the Ontario Tower Buzzards. The changeup is absolutely just sick. I mean, the changeup is totally gross. If we can make it to the last pitch of this video clipper, I think it's this one right here. That changeup right there, that is absolutely ridiculous. And then also a fastball in the 96 range. So you're talking about that plus changeup, fastball 96, 4-pitch mix with also a curveball and a slider. And then also he changes the shape of his slider. Look at that big curveball there. So you've seen the big right turning and tumbling changeup, the big 12-6 curveball, and then he also has a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that you saw there. And he can change the shape of his sliders based on the count. He can make it smaller if he wants to steal strikes or be more accurate with it, or he can actually add depth to it if he wants to make it a swing and miss pitch. So 4-pitch mix, it can be anywhere up to 6 to 7 pitches as he shapes his slider. So good look there at Hyun-Seok Jang, who had a really, really good night last night in a 4-inning piggyback outing for the Ontario Tower Buzzers. And then continuing with the firepower that we saw in the Ontario game last night, Ching-Shen Ko had a really nice game as well. Ching-Shen Ko, 2 hits, boom, opposite field. I love that. Inside out, he can serve it to left field, and then he can also do it with power. And anytime you do that, you're ahead of the game, because guys that can inside out a ball and or take the ball to the opposite field like Ko can, and he's a big dude. Watch this, boom. I mean, he misses a home run by a foot or 2. Hey, when you say hit it opposite field, I'm not asking you to sacrifice miles per hour on the exit velos, right? Although, yes, I mean, if you pull the ball, the barrel travels a further distance, you have more momentum. You're going to hit the ball harder if you do pull the ball. But that's not to say you can't hit the ball hard if you go opposite field, as we saw with that double there from Ching-Shen Ko. And another thing it does, if you hit the ball opposite field, see how deep he hit that ball? It allows the hitter to see the ball a little bit longer because he's letting the ball travel a little further, which means you're going to pick up spin better, which means you're going to lay off the late movement better. The strike to ball concepts are not going to get you quite as much because you're going to make better swing decisions against the late movement. You're going to identify spin better. You have more time to do that. So the swing decisions should be better. The barrel accuracy should be better because you're processing better information in terms of late where the pitch is at, so you know where to put the barrel. And so I really like this approach from Ching-Shen Ko, and I really like the fact that he's not sacrificing miles per hour on his exit velos to hit the ball opposite field. So good night last night for Ching-Shen Ko, and we covered last night quite a bit the first game of the AA Tulsa Drillers, and then we also covered the game yesterday for the Great Lakes Loons with Austin in our live show. So we're going to do mostly Ontario, then we're going to do the second game of the Tulsa Drillers last night, who they got down 6-1 and they came storming back. Big part to Kendall George. This was the first at bat of the game. He squared around a bunt, first pitch of the game, and you see that third baseman drawn in. Let me back that up. So because Kendall George squares around a bunt, which he did very first pitch of the game, he draws the infield in, and that's why he's able to shoot balls through the left side, because whenever you draw the infield in, you just create holes. I mean, it's like you always say when the infield comes in with a runner at third trying to cut the runoff, it raises the batting average of the hitter by like 200 points, right? Okay, well, that's Kendall George every single at bat because he squares the bunt, you bring the third baseman in, and then that gives you the ability to do that right there. By the way, almost half of his hits last year, he had 125 hits in 2025, and almost half of them were just like that. They were just ground balls through the left side that ended up being base hits. And so he has just absolutely mastered the type of game that he has, the best things that he does. 8 multi-hit games on the year, and he has hits in 13 games overall. Kendall George is hitting .411. His OPS is .971, and he has struck out more times, he has walked, I should say, more times than he has struck out. His on-base percentage is over 500, and he scored 17 runs in 14 games. I mean, holy wow to Kendall George. What an incredible start to his Double-A career he has had here in 2026. Super, super impressive, and that doesn't even count the stolen bases. I think he has maybe 14. Don't exactly quote me on that. It's somewhere like between 11 and 14 stolen bases right now. So just that complete speed game for Kendall George. He has built his entire game around it, and I absolutely love it. And one of my favorite hitting prospects, if you follow Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, you'll know Kyle Nevin, one of my favorite hitters in the system. Check this out. That's a changeup, and that is 111 miles per hour. And I'm telling you, this needs to be Kyle Tucker right here. Kyle Tucker needs to hit exactly like Kyle Nevin did last night. Use the big part of the field, which he did on that 111 mile an hour single, straight back up the middle. Hit the ball the other way. I'm not saying hit the other way every single time, because if you do that every time, then you're going to get beat by fastballs. I understand that. But use the big part of the field, hit the ball opposite field, and then right here, watch this. What I want you to notice is, look where the second baseman's at. This was a skill. This was not just luck. So whenever you have a runner on first, the second baseman, you see there's one out. The second baseman is going to be playing double play depth, which means they're going to be 2 steps in, 2 steps closer to the bag. Also, the first baseman is holding the runner on, so that opens up a gigantic hole on the right side. Kyle Nevin, with the understanding he has of baseball, with Phil Nevin being his dad, his brother being a major leaguer, he understands that. Just shoot the ball through the right side. So you saw him go around the world here. There you saw Eric Wedge, the manager, and then here is Nelson Quiroz right there delivering a base hit the opposite field as well. Kyle Nevin using a big part of the field, 111 mile an hour single against a changeup, also going down the right field line completely oppo for a double, and then beating the double play shift for his last hit of the night. Super, super, super skilled night offensively for Kyle Nevin, and he has his batting average well over 200, and he is off to a great start for the Double-A Tulsa Drillers in terms of his season this year in 2026. And another young man that is off to a great start too is Zyhir Hope. Again, the pull side power has not been there, but he's doing this too. He gathered 2 hits last night. Didn't clobber either one of them. That ball right there wasn't hit very hard. And then he did pull a ball they were getting ready to see, just kind of lobbed one into right field. But he is on a very good 3-game heater, and because of that, he has raised his average back over 300. Matter of fact, in the last 3 games, Zyhir Hope is 8 for his last 13, and he does have a home run included in there and 4 RBIs. So good job for Zyhir Hope of just kind of staying afloat and having a good season, despite the fact that he has not, the pull side power has not showed up yet. You would have to think throughout the course of an entire season, though, it will, as he continues to get more and more comfortable at the Double-A level. But for now, he's gathering a lot of hits. He's using the entire field that we've seen and doing a good job of that because of it. And then you talk about using the entire field. This is catcher Nelson Quiroz. Quiroz quietly had one of the better years last year, hitting .333 at the Double-A level. And you talk about a guy that uses the entire field. You saw him dunk one into right field on the pull side, hit one right back up the middle. He pulls this one again for his 3rd hit. And then his 4th hit you just saw a minute ago, he shoots the ball through the left side. So this is a guy, this is not a coincidence that Nelson Quiroz ends up with 4 hits. He uses the entire field as well as anybody, and I can tell you he has a very, very, very good 2-strike approach where he just kind of spreads out and tries to shoot the ball the other way. And because of that, he gathers a lot of hits. So Nelson Quiroz, after having one of the better years last year, very quietly in the system, off to another good start in 2026. And I'll tell you another guy that's off to a pretty good start too, that's just kind of coming into his own on the pitching mound, Evan Shaw. Evan Shaw, the ERA is a little bit over 4, so the ERA doesn't look great right now. But, hey, one outing, 1 run can definitely make that look. He's pitched a lot better than an over 4 ERA would show. He is the version, the pitching version of a hitter, that we just talked about with 3 hitters, Kyle Nevin, Zyhir Hope, and Nelson Quiroz. Evan Shaw is the pitching version of that in terms of, the way a hitter uses all fields. You can beat a defense in any which way. Evan Shaw can beat a hitter every which way. He can turn the ball late with late movement. He can use both sides of the plate. He can change speeds. He carries the top of the zone. He carries the bottom of the zone. He locates. He changes speeds. He moves the ball. And he just misses barrels. And he also misses bats. So a little bit of everything for Evan Shaw, and last night he had a good outing. He knocked down 1.2 scoreless innings for the AA Tulsa Drillers. And, you know, hey, we always talk about comebacks always start by hanging zeros, and that's exactly what he did. Gave his team time to stabilize as the Drillers got down 6-1. Gave his offense time to stabilize things and time to get back in the game, because doubleheaders are only 7-inning games, so you don't have as much time as you normally would. Good job, Evan Shaw, and another good job from Nick Robertson. Remember, Nick made his Major League debut with the Dodgers a couple of years ago. Got traded, I believe, to St. Louis, and he's bounced around a little bit here and there. I think the last time I saw him, he was a Spaceland, the AAA affiliates of Houston. I actually saw him in Oklahoma City, had a chance to talk to him for 10 or 15 minutes. Big fan of Nick Robertson. He has not given up a run yet in AA this year in 6 outings. 6 innings total, doing exactly what he's supposed to do in terms of just knocking down whatever he's asked to do, get on his way back to the major league level. And I'll just say this about him. The dude's a grinder. He just needs to keep grinding, keep putting up zeros, and just keep going on his way back to the major leagues. So super proud of Nick Robertson. A really good outing last night. And then another young man who continues just to be on helium in terms of the way that he is pitching, piggybacking off of his incredible 2025. That would be Carson Hobbs. And, of course, he did not get the save last night because the Drillers had built a 6-run lead by the time he came in. But Carson Hobbs knocked down another scoreless inning last night. Carson Hobbs has yet to give up a run in his 6 outings, which span 6.1 innings. And so, again, Carson Hobbs, the big curveball, the plus slider, the big fastball, the big-time mentality. The young man out of Alabaster, Alabama, continues to have, just a great season off of the great season in 2025. Definitely a front of the Rolodex type of relief arm, so keep an eye on Carson Hobbs. And that's going to do it for today's Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm. I want to thank you for tuning in and remind you, as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.